The film unfolds during a southward migration of species amid a significant ice age. As all the animals retreat, there is no time to lose. We are introduced to Sid, a clumsy ground sloth, awakening from his slumber, only to discover that his family has left him behind. Abandoned by his family, he decides to journey on his own. However, accidentally stepping on the meal of two Brontotherium, he incites their wrath, leading to a launched attack due to him ruining their meal. Amidst the chaos, Sid crosses paths with Manfred, a grumpy mammoth who, unlike the others, did not migrate. Sid implores Manfred to protect him from the attacking Brontotherium, resulting in a successful defense where Manfred easily defeats them, saving Sid's life. Despite the victory, Manfred reluctantly decides to leave Sid behind. With no friends and faced with loneliness, Sid chooses to stick with Manfred. However, Manfred, adamant about going alone, insists that Sid should not follow him. Despite Manfred's insistence, Sid continues to follow him. Near a waterfall, a tribe of humans led by Runer sets up camp, accompanied by his wife Nadia and their infant son Roshan. The seemingly happy family is unaware that a pack of saber-toothed tigers, led by Soto, is observing them with plans to attack them. Among the pack of tigers is Diego, driven by a personal vendetta against the humans, seeking revenge for the decimation of half of his pack in the past. Soto, the leader, reveals his plans to the rest of the pack. The strategy involves creating a distraction to divert the guards' attention and orchestrating an attack, with the ultimate goal of devouring Runer's son, Roshan, as an act of vengeance. The attack is carefully scheduled for the next morning, as part of Soto's calculated plan. In the morning, as the tigers prepare to launch their attack on the camp, chaos ensues in the skirmish between the two sides. Amidst the fight, Diego manages to sneak into Runer's room, discovering the infant son sleeping. Just as he is about to strike, the mother intervenes, swiftly grabbing her injured son and fleeing to safety. Diego relentlessly pursues them, and finally, the mother finds herself cornered at the edge of a waterfall. With no other choice and driven by the instinct to save her son, she makes a desperate leap into the water below, hoping to find refuge and escape the impending danger. Immediately upon Diego's return to Soto empty-handed, the leader becomes infuriated by the outcome. Frustrated by the failed results and pressured by the imminent threat from the humans, Soto orders Diego to go back to the river and retrieve the baby. The rest of the pack evacuates the area anticipating retaliation from the humans, and Soto emphasizes the urgency by instructing Diego to meet them in the mountains after securing the infant. In the jungle, Manny and Sid press on with their journey, but Manny's irritation grows as Sid continues his incessant chatter. Their path takes them to a river where they encounter a woman, weakened and holding a baby, on the riverbank. With little strength left, she entrusts her son to Manny before mysteriously disappearing. But Manny, emotionally affected but pragmatic, decides to leave the child there and continue their journey. Sid, however, is determined to reunite the baby with his kind. Despite Manny's reluctance, Sid remains undeterred. He attempts to get to the humans by climbing up the mountain. But on the way, the child slips from his hand and falls. Swiftly, Diego catches the baby, attempting to take him away. Manny intervenes, taking the child into his own care. Diego introduces himself and explains that he has taken custody of the baby, with the intention of returning him to the humans. Unconvinced of Diego's motives, Manny decides to aid Sid in returning the baby to his family. After a long journey, they arrive at the humans' camp only to find it deserted. Diego appears, informing them that the humans left in the morning. Despite Diego's urgency to return the baby quickly, Manny disagrees. They agree to take the baby back to his family together and head north towards Glacier Pass in search of the settlement, with Diego joining them as a guide. As the trio heads north, the child incessantly cries, causing distress for all of them. Despite their efforts to soothe him, nothing seems to stop the baby's tears. The long journey continues with the persistent crying until, finally, they realize that the baby is hungry. Eventually, they find a watermelon, and to their relief, the child stops crying as he eagerly eats, finally satiating his hunger. After the long journey, exhausted and needing rest, they decide to camp for the night. As everyone sleeps, Diego, keeping watch, suddenly spots a tiger and instinctively launches into defensive mode. However, to his surprise, it turns out to be his packmates, bearing a message from Soto. The message demands the baby's delivery. In response, Diego assures them that he will hand over the baby and promises that Manny will also be delivered. He instructs them to prepare the entire pack of tigers to ambush Manny, as he leads them into the trap. The next morning, Manny wakes up to discover that the child is missing. Immediately suspecting Diego of foul play, he confronts him, only to find that Diego is equally shocked and unaware of the baby's whereabouts. They both realize that Sid must have taken him. Sid, in his attempt to court two female sloths named Jennifer and Rachel with the baby, encounters Manny, who intervenes and takes back the infant. Despite Sid's pleas, Manny refuses to give him the child. Undeterred, Sid returns to the mud crater later, only to find that Jennifer and Rachel have been replaced by Carl and Frank. As Sid faces pursuit by rhinos, he stumbles upon Diego. In a desperate plea to save his life, Sid begs Diego. Diego decides to deceive the rhinos by pretending to have killed Sid, diverting their attention and saving Sid from the imminent danger. After the rhinos depart, Diego releases Sid, and the trio resumes their journey. Along the way, they face numerous challenges, including a shifting landscape and freezing ice age blizzards. Despite spending a considerable amount of time on their journey unbeknownst to them, Diego secretly misleads them, plotting an ambush. As the journey progresses in the mountains, Diego spots humans nearby before they are seen. Quickly, he fabricates a story, suggesting a shortcut to divert Manny and Sid toward an ambush point. Falling for the suggestion, the trio ventures through an ice cavern, eventually reaching a cave adorned with ancient paintings depicting various animals. Among these paintings, Manny makes a startling discovery: an image of a mammoth family. In a poignant moment, he flashes back to a time when he had a happy family, only to see a human hunting them in the portrayal. The depiction mirrors Manny's own tragic past, revealing the loss of his family, including his wife and child, to human hunters. This revelation exposes Manny's deep bitterness and grief over the tragic events. The baby, sensing Manny's pain, reaches out to the painting, offering comfort and helping him release the bitterness he has harbored for so long. In the mountains, Runer searches tirelessly for his son. Despite his relentless efforts, he cannot find any trace of him. The pain of losing both his wife and son weighs heavily on him. Overwhelmed by grief, Runer and his companions decide to return home. Continuing their journey, the group approaches Glacier Pass, anticipating reaching their destination. However, just before they reach the mountain, Sid makes a comment about feeling the ice hot. Initially, they ignore him, thinking he's joking. Suddenly, a volcano erupts from the ice, causing it to melt and creating a hazardous situation as they struggle to traverse the lava field. In the midst of the challenging lava field, Manny saves Sid from a perilous situation, and as they attempt to pass through, Diego slips on the melting ice, dangerously close to falling into the lava. In a desperate effort, Manny intervenes and manages to save Diego, risking his own life in the process. Astonishingly, Manny sacrifices himself by falling into the lava pit. But as the ice breaks beneath him, he is catapulted out of the lava pit unharmed, defying the odds and leaving the group in awe. Amid the astonishment of Manny's heroic actions, Diego, overwhelmed with gratitude, approaches him. Diego expresses his deep appreciation. Meanwhile, in the mountains, Soto and his pack prepare for the impending ambush on Manny, anticipating Diego to lead him into the trap. The tension builds as the characters' fates become intertwined in the approaching confrontation. As night falls and the group settles down, Sid, in his absent-minded state, begins to scratch stones together, unintentionally creating a fire. Seizing the opportunity, they use the fire to prepare a campfire, warming their bodies in the cold weather. The next morning, the journey continues into the mountains, facing harsh and cold weather. Eventually, they reach Half Peak, known as the Tiger's ambush area. However, just as they are about to enter the trap, Diego, overwhelmed by remorse for betraying Manny's trust, hesitates. In a moment of clarity, he intervenes and confesses that they should not proceed in that direction, revealing that it was an ambush he had planned. This revelation angers Manny, and in a fit of rage, he pins Diego to a rock while using his horns. However, Diego, apologetic for his actions and realizing that the only way to escape the trap is with his help, convinces Manny to reconsider. Manny hesitates but eventually agrees. Diego returns to the pack and informs them that Manny and the child are approaching in this direction. As they eagerly wait, the tigers spot Sid holding the child, prompting them to launch a sudden attack. They follow him closely and accidentally, Sid drops the child. To their surprise, the tigers discover that the child is actually a decoy made of snow. They have fallen into the trap, but then, Soto's fierce entourage catches up with Manny. He urgently signals Diego for assistance to take them down, but Diego disagrees and stands firmly by Manny's side, determined to defend him. The entire pack arrives, and along with Soto, they launch a coordinated attack on Manny and Diego, sparking a fierce battle between them. In the midst of the chaos, Soto successfully defeats Diego, inflicting wounds upon him. Soto then turns his attention to Manny, and the rest of the pack corners Manny alone. Just as Soto is about to strike with his powerful saber tooth, Diego, summoning his last reserves of strength, intervenes and manages to save his friend. However, the encounter leaves Diego severely wounded, his body bearing the marks of the fierce battle. In an act of vengeance, Manny delivers a powerful punch that knocks Soto into a rocky surface, causing a cascade of hanging sharp icicles to impale him, leading to immediate death. The Tigers, witnessing the demise of their leader, flee in fear. Manny, Sid, and the baby find safety, but Diego, severely injured, seems to succumb to his wounds, leaving Manny and Sid to continue their journey to find the humans on their own. With no other choice, Manny and Sid eventually find their way and finally locate the humans. The humans, ready to defend themselves and initially wary of Manny, prepare to confront him. However, when Manny reveals his child safe and unharmed, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. Grateful for the return of his son, and expresses his thanks. In a gesture of gratitude, bestows a beaded necklace upon Manny. With the baby reunited with his human family, Manny and Sid decide to go back to their herd. As they move on, they stumble upon Diego, who miraculously survived the attack. The trio, now bound by their shared experiences, decides to form a herd and embark on a journey together. The movie concludes with the newfound herd heading south, forging a bond that promises adventures and camaraderie in their shared future, as they head towards new horizons.